What's up? Coach Pennington here. This is the Championship Season podcast. I'm here with Nate Forse, former teammate, and runs Forse Factor, which is purpose coaching. And Nate's a personal trainer, lifestyle coach, does a lot of different things in between, but has a great program that I wanted to share with everyone, and obviously inspired me as a former teammate. But Nate, what's going on?
Man, just honored to be here, bro. I'm happy it's summer now. It's getting warm out here in Denver. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, brother. What time? You're 3 hours behind, right?
Yeah, it's 12 o'clock. It's noon right out here.
Well, so Nate and I played wide receiver together at WVU, and then we didn't necessarily stay in touch consistently, but I followed along with what you were doing. I think you were doing the same, and we linked up maybe like 2-3 years ago, and I've just been blown away by what you're doing and helping others, and I love, I nerd out on personal growth and personal development. I know you do too, and something that we have in common. So we just linked up, and been following you and we did a live Zoom call or Facebook last year, and so I just wanted to get people, get your name out there for the people that follow me, and hopefully someone that's listening can get some stuff out of this.
Love it. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here, man.
So tell me tell us a little bit about Force Factor, and then what you got coming up this summer with it.
Yeah, so I started out just doing what I knew how to do. I was playing football till I was 29, ended up in Chicago, living on my buddy's couch. And it was like, well, I want to feed myself today. So I started training people and had a mentor that said, this is a business. You just need to treat it like one. And so I built that up from literally my buddy's couch and realized about 3 years into that business, like people need help, not just with, working out, how to squat right, how to swing a kettlebell, how to do a bench press, but they really needed help changing their thoughts. And so I incorporated a lot more nutrition coaching into that as well. But ultimately, it was leading more to the mind. And so, thoughts become things. You know how this goes.
Yeah.
Like going back to our time at West Virginia, I didn't believe in my heart of hearts that I could be a great Division I football player. And I wasn't. I showed up and I had some good moments, but it was because I didn't believe it, And so
Yeah.
going through my own stuff, you can't lead someone to a place you haven't been before. Like in my football career, I could never stand coaches who just said, hey, go do this, but they weren't living it. It's like, we need to go up this mountain together. And so that's what I do now. I really help people, through a 3-step process I created: plan their life, know their vision, plant, create the pathway for that, create the business, create the fitness, whatever that looks like. And then the third step is persevere. So get over your stuff, the things that have held you back, really figure out what that stuff is. And that's some of people's biggest challenge right there. And so, it's morphed into, more so, I guess, life coaching, if you want to call it that, but really, like, there is no separation in life. Your fitness, your spiritual life, your business, your family life, you as a father, they're all one and the same. And
Right.
so I help people really understand what they want and how to get there.
Yeah, how to win. And I loved a couple of things you just said. Thoughts become things. I mean, I've heard that before, but it's been a while. I mean, that is so true. You know what I mean? It obviously starts in your mind, and then, plan, plant, and persevere. I mean, that's just a simple way to put it. Just have a plan, figure out where you need to get started, and get moving and persevere through it, man. That I love that. And I love, watching you, on social media, and you've really, built this literally from a couch, to this business. But how do you, and I want to touch on that a little bit here down the road in the interview, but how do you set and achieve your personal goals? Because I mean, you have to be, obviously, like you said, you can't lead them there if you're not going there yourself. And I can tell that you're in shape. You're ripped up. You played professional football, Division I football. You're in the Hall of Fame, right, at Cal.
Yeah.
So extremely successful athlete. But you continued that into what you're doing now. But how do you set and achieve your personal goals?
Well, that's interesting you talk about that, because if we had talked, a year ago, I would have had a completely different process for this. And it was always, what are the 10 steps? What are the 5 steps? Because when I get to the end of those, I'm going to be good enough. I'm going to be amazing. I'm going to have love and joy and peace, all the things that we're really working towards. So over the past year, I've been really reworking this process and going back to that plan phase of like, who are you? That's the first piece. Because a lot of us are working from a place of we work in order to become, as
Yeah.
opposed to we are, and that's why we work.
Mhm.
Like Tim Tebow, for example, he's a guy I love. Like, you look at his success, because his success didn't mean, like, he wasn't going to be defined by his success.
Yeah.
He was just out there because he loved it. My journey, on the other hand, I was always trying to achieve in order to become. And so I've reworked this whole process. So now it's more so, hey, who are you? Like, what are your talents and abilities? What are the gifts that God has given you that were there at a very young age, that have always been there? Work from that place. And then that's how you craft your goal. And so I use an exercise called the dream day, where, if time and money weren't an option, what would your day look like? Who would you spend it with? Where would you be? And it doesn't have to be real, but that's
Right.
the lens that you look through it, of like, I'm now doing everything on a daily basis to get to that place, which is a place of peace and freedom and joy, as opposed to, oh, here's the 10 steps, because you know how it is. The 10 steps are easy. Like,
Yeah.
take fitness. If you want to lose body fat, you just work out and you eat less. But how
Right.
many people struggle with this journey? Because that
99.9.
piece, yeah, that piece is not fixed first and foremost. And I think a lot of people just don't know this, that your patterns and your learned behavior are what's on that hamster wheel that keeps bringing you back to square one.
That is awesome. And I think, do you write your dream day out, or, and just you have it typed up and like this is, and you just try to emulate that every day?
If I flip my computer around right now, you would see it above my whiteboard in my office here.
So,
So
so you type it up or write it?
I wrote it out, and then I read it. Like, if I'm having a crappy day, because we all have them, that's what I look towards. It's like, because what happens in the spiritual realm, first and foremost, what happens in your mind is then released to the physical world.
Yeah.
And thoughts become things, like we just said. It's like, when you dwell on that, and a lot of people are unaware that their results are a direct proportion of what they're thinking about every single day. And so renewing your mind is the key to it all. That's like the valve between what hasn't happened yet and what your current reality is.
I love that. Renewing your mind. And that's kind of what you use this dream day for, just to kind of remind yourself, hey, this is what I am, this is who I am. And everything else kind of falls in place with that.
And I read the quote this morning, actually, like, live your life from your vision, not your memory.
Yeah.
Because most people are looking in the rearview mirror. It's like, I'm trying to drive a car fast looking like this the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Behind me. But we don't have that vision. That doesn't mean you're not going to have a bad day. It takes work. This is like the true curls, the push-ups that are really going to benefit you in the long run, because when you do this work, that's when it starts to change your actual life.
Yeah. I've heard that in a different way, like live your life in vision, not in circumstance. Same kind of thing, like stay
Totally.
stay focused on that vision, and everything, it's going to be a bumpy ride. I was it's funny you talk about those 8 steps, 7 steps. I was kind of putting my goals together and trying to step it like that. And I'm reading Tim Grover's book, Winning. I don't know if you've read that. Reminds me of Mike Barowitz. That's why I love Tim
Yeah.
Grover's stuff. But he said, like, he's talking about the steps are like, there are no steps, but I look at it like a labyrinth, right? Like, have you seen, I'm talking about those staircases that are interconnected and sideways and upside down. It's like never ending.
Yeah.
And it's, I think happiness isn't a pursuit. You don't pursue happiness. You express joy, and you feel happiness because you're living that, you're living that life. That's powerful, man. That's you've always been kind of a deep thinker. I love that.
Well, it's just out of my own experience, man, because I've done all those steps. It's been like, well, I hit this, but like, I'm still not getting what I want, or I still don't feel
Right.
fulfilled, or I still don't feel peace. And like, I've implemented a rule, it's called the 1% rule, where like, everything I do, I try to just show up 1% better.
Yeah.
When I'm in the gym, you know, man, my workout said to only do 4 sets of 10. Well, I'm going to do 4 sets of 12, you
Yeah.
know, or I'm studying right now, I'm going to go another paragraph.
Yeah.
Or,
A little bit extra.
yeah, just that 1%. Because at the end of a year, if you get 1% better, you're 38% better at the end of that year.
Yeah.
So just improving 1%. However, if you go 1% worse, you're at 0.3%. So you're almost at zero from where you started.
Yeah.
And so it's just like that little thing. So like the goals, man, I've almost let go of it, honestly, bro. Like, I'm more about intentions. Like, I set my vision, I know where I'm going ultimately, but it's just like, okay, how do I get 1% better every day? Because I've written out the lists. Like, if you look at my calendar, it would have been like fully just stacked, like
Yeah.
15 minutes here, read, list, pray, meditate. Like, and it was just, it got frustrating, man. And so it's almost been an unlearning process. And I feel like the more you do personal development, the more you see themes
Yeah.
throughout everything. Like people have their 10 steps that are in a different way, but they're saying the same thing.
Yep.
And so you see these themes of resting, finding peace, mindfulness, and like Steve Jobs, even like he would spend, I think, 3 hours a day in meditation. Or maybe I have the number wrong, but it was always an emphasis put on quiet,
Hmm.
listening, getting still. And it sounds woo-woo, and it was the hardest thing in the world for me to practice for a long time. But it's just like anything. You get 1% better at it, you're going to be much better to hear from now. And so it just becomes part of your life then. So like even I think you mentioned Tim Ferriss,
Yeah.
his 4-hour work week. One of the things that blew my mind in that book is he talked about when I have 8 things to do, I go for an hour walk and think about the one way to get those 8 things done. And it was
Right.
like, in the past, I would just go at it and go as hard as I can. I'm going to stay up as long as I need to and drink as much coffee and pre-workout.
Yeah. Uh,
So,
So yeah, I'm laughing because I'm having the same kind of epiphany over this last year. So we have one player that came through our school at West Virginia State that made it to the NFL, and he plays for the Arizona Cardinals. And we did a Zoom call like this with our team. I mean, every player on our team has a goal to play in the NFL. I mean, 90% of them, whatever. All right. And this one guy, I asked him, I said, was it your goal? And he said, no. He said, absolutely not. He said, I don't believe in setting goals. He said, I just believed in getting better every day. And he's like the one guy that made it completely let go of his goal, and that was powerful to me. And ever since then, I've been like you, unlearning. I mean, I wrote a book on goal setting, like that it is woo woo, but you have to, if you focus on that all the time, you're going to end up pissed off all day long because it's going to take 3 years to achieve certain goals. So that's 1,000 days that you don't achieve it.
yeah,
So focusing on that 1% is huge, man. I love that.
dude, totally. And it's like, I look back on my career, I did that 1% every day, but my foundation was jacked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to where I wanted to, but like my mindset was different, the way I saw it. And I realized as this pattern kept repeating in my life of like, I just showed up and I got better. And I kept on showing up and I just kept on getting better. And pretty soon I'm like, holy crap, who am I? I'm a different person now. But I was always thinking, oh my gosh, when I get, say, to the NFL, then I'm going to be good enough. Like I got inducted into in Cal's Hall of Fame, which I'm super honored about. But I always looked at like me as a failure because I had to transfer to a Division II school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like,
how messed up your thought process.
dude, it's so crazy to say it out
Yeah.
loud even, but it's like I practiced that 1% rule unintentionally and unconsciously. And so it's like, man, what if I did this consciously? What if that was like my goal as
Yeah.
opposed to I got to do this, and then you got stress tied to it and you're anxious all the time and you're pissed off and you're frustrated when it doesn't go exactly the way you planned it.
Yeah, I had to rewrite. Like I wanted, want to win a championship here. Obviously, I mean but I had to let go of that, and really I got to focus on just building an elite culture, and that's
Mm,
my goal. It's like I got to get it. Our culture has to strengthen like 1% every day, and that way you let go of that end result and you just focus on the process. But I do have to ask you this: So tell me, like, you write out the dream day. Do you have like a list of goals, or do you have like stuff that you try to do every week, or a morning routine? What do you do without focusing on those goals to kind of stay on track?
yeah,
Or how do you
totally.
stay disciplined?
I have I in my plan phase, I have 3 pieces to it. It's the dream day. I have, well, technically 4. I have an exercise called the 1550 exercise, which you write out 15 things that you're proud of that you've accomplished. And then you
Mhm.
write out 50 goals. And
Yeah,
of those 50 goals, you give them a 1, 3, 5, or 10-year time frame. And it really gets you focused because then you see like, oh, really? I only have these like 2 or 3 things maybe on my plate that need my attention now. Because it's like, you know, I'm making 100K a year, but my goal is to buy a yacht. You can have everything you want in life. You just can't have it all right now. And
hmm,
so you get caught in that comparison trap a lot of times when you like, if I compare myself to Bill Gates right now, I'm a massive failure.
yeah, right.
Like he's worth 100 billion or whatever it is, or I don't even know the numbers. So that kind of gets you focused there. Then I break those down into a yearly goal. I call it my 7 pillars.
Hmm.
And so I use the F theme. It's fitness, family, fun, your foundation, which is your impact, your finances, your faith, and then your friends. And I say those are like the 7 pillars of life we have. And
Yeah.
so I set specific benchmarks in each of those. And I have within that, I guess I have a little bit of a process. I have an outcome goal. For example, like in my finances, I want freedom and peace in my finances. But within that, there's the process. I want to save X amount, I want to earn X amount. So I have the process because a lot of times I think people focus on the process, but not the outcome that they desire.
Yeah.
And so they get frustrated in the process. Well, I'm trying to make this amount of money. Well, what is that amount of money going to bring you?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So I want to have freedom with my kids. So yeah, I need to generate an extra 5 grand a month or whatever that looks like. So
So
then
that's kind
you
of like your why, right? Like, why are you doing this? Because I want
totally,
freedom,
totally.
Right.
And
I
then
love,
the last piece of it is I create a vision board, which is the pictures of what those 7 pillars are. So because your unconscious mind thinks in pictures and movies, like think of any memory you've ever had.
yeah.
It's not like a paragraph, it's a picture or a movie. And so you want to represent what the outcome is that you've just stated in a physical form. And
Dude,
that helps bring it into existence.
that's so powerful. I mean, if you're listening to this, think about that. Like, think about any memory you have. It's not a paragraph from a from an English book. It's a visual movie or a picture, and that's why those vision boards are so powerful. And I do them too. I don't do them every year, but me and my wife did one, and it's crazy, man. We have a picture from like 15 years ago where we have like a living room, and there's like a clock that has family pictures on it, and that's each of the hands of the clock. And we were literally doing a video about our visual or vision board, and it was behind us. Didn't even think about it. Like we're looking at it, and we turned around, we're like, holy crap. Like we didn't, you don't really or you don't think about it consciously, but it's in there, you know.
Yeah. And
That
90% of your brain, bro, is your unconscious mind.
right.
Yet we only focus on the 10%, which is the physical that we're seeing, touching, we're feeling right now.
So do you do affirmations, or is that what you use your dream day for?
Yeah, I would say I've done the affirmations. Like I used to, when I lived in Chicago, I was on the 12th floor of an apartment. I would shout them to Chicago every single day.
You were
The
doing
problem was with
cantations.
affirmations, if you don't have the underlying work, if you don't know who you are at the
Oh
core,
yeah. Yep.
your unconscious is essentially calling BS all the time. So you're saying I'm abundant, but it's not showing up in your life. Then it's basically building a gap, a wedge between your conscious and unconscious. So the trick is to go back and clear up all that stuff, and then the affirmation becomes a thing that's positive. So
Yeah.
you're affirming that yes, this is who I am. I know it's who I am. But if you don't know who you are first and foremost, it's driving that wedge. So yes, the dream day is kind of my affirmation now, but I would just have different things throughout my day. I don't say it's written out. It's like if I'm feeling just like crappy, I'm frustrated about something. It's like, no, I'm amazing. I'm abundant. I am a lion. I'm strong. I have a lion right next to me. It's like the vision, the physical representation of like who I am and what I want to portray. And so it's shifted. I'll just say that.
Yeah, no, I love that. And because I just read a book called Soundtracks, and it's like the soundtracks, the personal talk scripts, or self-talk scripts, what's a big one you're using right now? I was talking to my old high school quarterback, and he gave me one that I've been using every day. Said like mentally respond, don't emotionally react. My buddy
Yeah.
Hollis Lewis, shout out, no free shout outs to Hollis, but what is a self-talk script right now for you that's like a go-to for anything, working out or staying patient or anything?
Well, it's the 1% rule for me. It's
Mhm.
like, hey, I'm here. Am I going to get 1%? Am I going to honor the commitment I made to myself, or am I going to go short? Am I going to give it 8 reps when I know I could give it 10? Or am I going to go 12 when I said I was going to do 10? Am I going to just stretch when I did that? And
Mhm.
so for me, one of the ones is stay in the fight. You know, like I'm feeling crappy today, stay in the fight. Let's go. Get
Love it.
yourself up. And so it's like renewing that mind in every single, and that's like, that isn't just like a one-time thing. It's not you wake up, you do your morning routine, then you have an amazing day.
Yeah.
It's you might have to do this 12 times in a day.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Motivation. It doesn't
Yeah.
last.
So I've shifted, John, from like being like really strict and I have this checklist I have to hit to
Yeah.
where more so now I'm feeling anxious. I probably need to get quiet. Let me
Hmm.
repeat this stuff. You know, it's a frustration. It's a frustrating day. Let me go for a walk. I'm not going to just sit here and drink a bunch of coffee and get myself jacked up and make myself feel better, right? So it's dealing with that underlying and getting still and really listening to spirit, man.
Hmm.
And like doing that has become like just so much more like people used to say like you find joy in the journey, right? Like that sounded like so like weak to me, but I was like, it really is. I get it now. It's like, man, I'm here every day. I'm gonna be, on this journey when I'm 100, when I'm 120, hopefully someday.
Right.
Like I'm gonna still be growing. So I'm never gonna reach the end of this, but I have peace, I have joy, I have love, I have freedom attainable at all times. And that's one of my affirmations is my life is the epitome of peace, love, joy, and freedom.
Well, I love that. That is awesome. And that's I love that 1% too, because like you said, the journey, there is no finish line. I mean, I think Tim Grover said that it was like it's life is a marathon of just endless sprints. It's from a start to a finish, a start to a finish, a start to a finish, and just never ends.
Yep.
But that's awesome. I love too, that's powerful. If you're feeling anxious, anyone listening to this, and this is for myself too, it's probably time to get quiet. It's obviously time to kind of look at that plan and find out, see if you're, living in line with what you need to. Well, we could talk goals the whole time, but I do want to pick your brain on nutrition,
Yeah.
because, I do see that, that six pack you got, but that you are in shape, man. You look great. And you're what? You got to be 42. I'm just
No,
kidding.
dude.
I know you're younger than me.
No, I'm 37 now, which is weird to say. Um, so basically, like nutrition for me boils down to three things: how much food to eat, what foods to eat, and then when to eat them.
Right.
And so a lot of people focus on, I'm doing keto, I'm doing this. No, no, no. Find out what your body needs. So basically, that formula is what's called your basal metabolic rate, which is short for BMR.
Hmm.
So that's literally like if you were sitting on a couch, how many calories would your body burn? Then you need to factor in your activity level, how much you're moving throughout the day, if you're working out like crazy. So that calculated number is then your adjusted BMR. And so if your goal is to lose body fat, you need to be 500 calories underneath that. So if you're, for round numbers, if your BMR is 2,000 calories, which is pretty normal for a 6 foot, 200-pound man, and you burn 500 calories, you should be eating somewhere around like 2,200 for
Okay.
that day. And then you do it consistently. You
Yeah.
show up, you persevere, you get 1% better every single day. So understanding that first and foremost is the key. And then you can start talking about like food sensitivities once you have those calories, on track. I have a guy right now, he's ex-NFL guy, started out 365 pounds, and he lost 10 pounds in about 14 days by eating more.
Really.
Because what was happening is when you don't eat enough, it's called metabolic adaptation. Your body gets accustomed. Like, for example, if we were on a desert island somewhere, our bodies, and we didn't have a lot of food source available, our bodies would slowly like slow down and we'd have less energy throughout the day. The problem in our culture though is that we think, oh, you just eat less and you'll lose fat, right?
Right.
So what you're doing unintentionally is you're putting yourself into that starvation mode, is an easy way to put it, even though it's really not starvation mode. Your body's adapting to how many calories you're getting. Then we go out on the weekends and we go ham and we eat a bunch. And so your body says, well, we didn't have a lot of calories, enough calories during the week. So we're going to store all this fat, this excess we just got. And this is the cycle a lot of people are on. It's a 1% worse every single day.
Have you been following me around or what? How do you know what I'm doing? How do you know that I'm doing that every week? Because everybody's probably doing it.
It's literally like 80% of people,
Yeah.
probably more like 90. And that's what keeps people stuck. So then what happens is there's 4 levels of eating. Level 4 is people who just eat for taste. They eat
Mhm.
Doritos and Ho-Hos If it tastes good, they're going to put it in their mouth. Level 3 is people who eat for energy, very carb heavy diet, which was based on the old food guide pyramid that you and I grew up with as kids. Then level 2 is people who are doing cleanses to try to get out of level 3. So these are the people who have, lost 200 pounds. They lost 10 pounds 20 times, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So they do something for 30 days, but it never becomes a lifestyle. And level 1 is my goal to get everyone to where they're mindful. And so it becomes a lifestyle. And once you get it down, it's like, oh my gosh, food isn't an enemy anymore. I love pizza. I love beer. I love whiskey. I love wings. I eat ice cream, but I don't do it every night.
yeah, right.
So I'm even at a point where I've gotten married. I got a kid on the way in 3 months, and like I want to tighten up a little bit. So guess what I started doing again? I started tracking my food. I'm consistent with it, and then I enjoy myself 10% of the time. So we got on the weekends, we get ice cream. My wife loves sweets, so I'm not gonna like sit there and like munch on some celery sticks while she's enjoying like ice cream. Like that's not life, right? And we're not
Wait,
here to be bodybuilders.
you're telling me that's possible. I mean, that you can, and I've seen this on social media. So like, I'll see where you're like at the end of the week and you're like, you got room for however many calories and you like got a picture of a ice cream sundae. And I'm like, oh my God, that would, guilt-free eating of that
Yeah.
sounds glorious.
And the challenge is most people, so going back to the unconscious mind, you cannot process a negative. Like whoever's listening to this right now, I do not want you to think about a blue tree. Whatever you do, don't think about a blue tree. And of course, all we're doing is thinking about that. Or you saw a blue tree and then you switch it to red or
Yeah.
green, whatever. So a lot of people, they will set a goal. Well, I don't want to be fat anymore. Well,
That's all I
what
think
if
about.
your unconscious thinking is they just hears fat? Like,
Yeah.
what do you really want? Plan, plant, persevere. So really know what you want. Like, you know, my goal is to be 8% body fat and to walk around with veins showing where like that's sustainable for me. That's my goal.
Yeah.
So if your goal is 20% right now, that's your goal. Stick to that. Run your own race. So like for me, the vision of that is me being able to dunk a basketball. Because if I'm 240, it's going to be really hard. But when I'm at 220 and I'm at that body fat, I feel good. So that's the picture I set all the time. So I know what I want.
That's awesome. And so you have this is all part of the force factor. Like once after you get the plan, plant, persevere, then you start on the nutritional side. And man, that's awesome. I'm definitely envious when I see those ice cream sundaes on there at the end of the week for you.
Well,
Um,
you can literally have your cake and eat it too. That's the plan.
that should be your slogan or your motto right there.
Exactly.
Well, so how would you describe, and this is something, I'm into culture and obviously with our football team, but how would you describe the culture of your online community? Because I'm sure you have a lot of clients and, you do workouts. Do you have a gym or do you like, that you work out with people at, or you go and like,
No, so when COVID hit, we were doing an outdoor boot camp, which was awesome.
yeah,
But then here in Denver, it gets cold. So that stopped once winter came around. So I'm completely doing online things now. And so I work mostly with, ex-athletes, entrepreneurs, people in real estate, business owners, people in leadership positions, like kind of like yourself,
yeah,
and people who, like we only have 35,000 decisions we can make in a day. And so picking between the red shirt and the blue shirt, they rack up quickly, you
yeah,
know? So hiring a coach, having someone in your life that just takes away the thinking to where you just implement is really powerful. And I have multiple coaches in my life and I believe in that more than anything. So the community online is those people, but they're really, looking to become the best version of themselves, who they were created to be. They know that there's something missing and they want that little bit of extra.
yeah.
And that's the people I really work with.
Yeah, it's great when I'm great at following directions, but I love to lift, but I hate going in there and, okay, what do I got to do today? And luckily we have a
Yeah,
strength coach and part of his requirement when I hire him is to give me a workout plan, along with the players. But I hate thinking about what I'm going to eat or that's why it's so important to have a coach.
totally. I mean, I have a guy who designs workouts for me because I know where your treasure is, there your heart will be, right?
Yeah.
So like I pay him, I know I'm going to be much more consistent when I pay him. So
Yep.
that's why I do it.
Yeah, it makes you a little bit more committed.
100%.
Well, another thing that I admire about you is, that you started this online business, from a couch. For anyone out there thinking about taking that leap, or I know, is it called e-commerce? Is that the right
I mean, it would be more like online marketing, I would say.
online
E-commerce is
marketing?
more like I'm selling something on Amazon, or I've got this water bottle and I'm selling it
Yeah,
from China or whatever.
it's
So
not a
yeah.
physical. Yeah, but so I mean, what advice would you give to someone? I mean, because it is 2021, and I'm sure there's a million people out there right now thinking about doing something like that. What advice would you give them? What have that you've learned along the way?
I would say it goes back to those 3 steps again: plan, plant, persevere. So know who you are first and foremost. Sometimes that takes a little bit of work, and it's frustrating, especially if you're in a financially strapped situation. Like, I got to make money right now, but you can make that money, but you're going to get right back to where you were. You'll find a way to lose it. And
Hmm.
so know who you are, know what your gifts and abilities are. A lot of people, and this is part of the thing in my business. I started an online business simply because I could make more money and reach more people. Like, my heart was right, but I didn't have this work underneath like the true foundation. So
Hmm.
know what your gifts and abilities are. And then, instead of trying to fit your life into that mold, find a business that fits that mold. One of my mentors, he would always say, I don't create products, I find the demand and then create the product to fill that need. And
Wow.
so I think that's a big thing. Like I have a friend who wrote a book. It was called The Athlete's Dilemma. And you'd appreciate this, John, because you know, after sports, a lot of us have a hard time finding like life after that, because you're so driven and such a purpose. And it's just like one day it's done. And it's like, what the
Yeah.
heck do I do?
Your whole
He was
identity's
writing a
gone.
book to those athletes who are in the sports. The problem is, no one, when they're in it, realizes they need
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's like the person who's 200 pounds overweight but doesn't think they have a problem, right? It's like, it like business solves a problem. So know your gifting, know what problem you want to solve. And usually the best place to start that is your own journey.
Yeah.
So the things that you've overcome in your life, then you can teach. They say necessity is the mother of invention, right? So you have a problem in your house and you find a way to fix it, and those are the best inventions.
Yeah.
So
That's
that would be my advice to anyone: know who you are, know what your gifting is, and then know what problem you want to solve based on what you've accomplished in your life.
That's powerful, man. Business solves a problem, and you find the demand and then enter that market. I think that's or solve that problem. That's awesome. And so for you, you're looking for just people that anyone that leaders that want to get better that don't have the time to focus on that. Is that kind of the niche?
Not only the time, but they they feel like they're not living up to their full potential. They could be super successful financially, but they don't have time with their kids.
Right.
Or even they're super successful financially, but they know there's more. And usually what happens is that's that hamster wheel. There's some work that needs to go on underneath the surface. Go back to the beginning, plan, plant, persevere, and figure out what that is. And that's where the true work comes into play.
Yeah. So it sounds like there's a fourth step that's not written, and that's repeat consistently. Plan,
Oh,
persevere, repeat. Uh,
yeah. And,
uh,
and dude, it's like I always tell my clients, like, the things I'm going to teach you in your fitness are going to apply to every aspect of your life.
yeah.
And so it's not like isolated in a bubble. Like, your fitness isn't over here and your family life over here, and then everything else is in these little nice, neat little bubbles. It's one and the same. And so focusing on one, how a trickle down effect to every aspect of life.
Yeah, that's a lot. I try to tell our players that, like, I'm not trying to teach you how to win just at football, but I want to teach you how to win at winning. Like, I mean, these things that we're doing to be better at football is how you win in life. You do the same thing with your family, the same thing with your job. We want to teach you how to win at winning. Um, that's beautiful. Well, how do you, and you kind of talked about this a little bit, but how do you improve your personal development skills? Like, what do you do? I know you said you had mentors, but do you do seminars, reading? I mean, what is kind of your go-to to improve yourself?
Yeah, I mean, like, I read every single day. I try to do something in some form or fashion, whether that's a podcast, an audiobook. One of the things that people think I'm crazy for is I like to listen to audiobooks when I work out. I don't do it every day, but it kind of kills two birds with one stone. So I always read my Bible every morning. I'll journal almost every day, and I'll read some form of a book too. And then part of that as well is I'll do my meditation. I'll get quiet, I'll pray, and I'll just like really like listen.
Mhm.
So, and then I try to place myself around people that have what I want. Like we're the product of the five closest people to us. And so, an easy way to change is to just put yourself around circles of people that have what you want, whether that be money, good relationships, fitness, whatever that looks like for you.
That's great advice. And I mean, you're not crazy because I only listen to podcasts and audiobooks when I work out.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, think about it, dude. If you're listening to the news all day, you're going to be pretty depressed,
yeah,
you know? So if your thoughts become things, well, what's affecting my thoughts?
what I put in my mind.
Exactly,
Yeah, that's,
So that's a great way to see it.
I love that. I'm, usually, unless I'm like in a deep thought, which you can't do when you work out, maybe if I'm going for a jog, I'll put some music on, but most of the time it's podcasts, some YouTube motivational video or an audiobook.
Yeah. I
What's
love
it? Give me a good book you read recently.
Man, I just finished this book called Spirit, Soul, and Body. And it really talks about renewing your mind again. So if your physical results aren't what you want, it's because your mind is dwelling on the actual world. And that's where the vision comes into play so much. That's where spirit is released. And that's where the listening process starts to happen. So that book has been fantastic, man. I'm also listening to an audio book called I'm drawing a blank right now. It's basically about like the super successful people back in the day. And
Hmm.
so like the thing I used to do when I'd listen to a book was I would try to get every single like detail, every single step. Whereas now I'm looking for more themes. Hey,
Yeah,
what are the common themes between like John D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie? Like, what did they do? You
right.
know, it wasn't just I worked harder. No, they did stuff different. And that's why they had that massive success. And so it's looking for the themes more so than like the actual nitty gritty steps.
Right, it's going to be different for everybody, but
Totally.
the themes aren't going to be like you said. Everyone's got quiet time, they visualize, they whatever it is that works for them, but it's going to be similar
100%, man.
on a broad scale. Well, the name of this podcast is called The Championship Season. And it's because, we all have different championships. For me, obviously, it's winning a championship. Right now, it's not, because I'm in a different phase. I'm getting ready for vacation. That's my championship, my kids' enjoyment of our trip. But what is it for you? What's the championship for your own life right now? And what are you excited about upcoming?
Well, in less than 3 months, our baby's going to be here. So I'm super excited for that chapter of stepping into fatherhood. But really, dude, it sounds corny, but it's the 1%.
Hmm.
That's my barometer. It's like, can I look? I have it up on my mirror. It says 1% better today. And can I look at myself in the mirror? Because you can lie. I can lie to you. I can lie to anyone else. We can lie to ourselves, but you can't lie to that mirror, man.
Yeah.
If you got better. And so that's really my championship, bro. Is just like a lot of people after sports, they try to find something else. Like they go from football to triathlons or to jujitsu or whatever it is. Like it just morphs into another physical outlet. Like that's been for me, man. Like, am I going to show up when I don't need to?
Hmm.
Am I going to be a wimp and watch Netflix when I know I should be doing this? Or am I going to actually do it? Now, in the same token, it's like knowing when you need rest as well, right?
Yeah.
Knowing like I grow in the rest, my muscles grow when I rest, my mind grows when I rest. So it's not necessarily pedal to the metal at all times. Like there's times and a place for that. And that's where wisdom comes in, like knowing who you are, what you need, back to the 3 steps, plan, know what you want. And so that's my championship now, bro. Is like, am I going to get 1% better on this podcast? Am I going to be
Right.
1% more present with you as opposed to like checking a text message or thinking about something else?
Man, that's awesome. And I guarantee if you stay on that path, you're going to be, you're going to zoom off and achieve whatever it is that's, in the back of your mind. I totally go back to Dennis Gardak when I think about him, not having a goal of going to the NFL. It was just to get better at football every day. And he was very passionate about that, just like you are with the 1%. Well, man, congratulations on becoming a father, and your marriage. It looked like you had a great time at the wedding, and I know you're going to be a great father, and I'm just enjoying, kind of following along vicariously.
Thanks, dude. Well, dude, it's been so good to like reconnect post football. That was almost 20 years ago already, which is absolutely crazy. But I just want to say to like anyone watching this, like, just know that like your life has a purpose, it has a meaning, and the things you're going through right now might not make sense, but they will make sense down the road. And so just keep showing up for yourself, because you're not only showing up for yourself, you're showing up for your future family. Like the work I did in the football field is going to benefit my kids. The work I did when I started personal development, over 8 years ago now, is coming to fruition now. And
Yeah,
that's why I say stay in the fight.
I
Just stay
love
in
that.
the fight.
I'm stealing that self-talk script here, as I'm trying to battle through vacation and drag my kids through Disney. I'm like, just stay in the fight, stay in the fight. But
Love
no,
it.
I love that, man, and I love your passion. I love that competitive mindset. I think there's a lot of people out there like you and me that, like you said, lose that identity when they're done playing, but I still love that competitive drive. Like I'm as competitive as I was when I was a player to get 1% better, or to stay in the fight, or to accept the challenge. Like that is kind of, I can't change that. That's molded for decades.
Yeah.
And so I love how you've kind of repurposed that and you're using it to help others, and you're positively impacting people. How can, like, if anyone listens to this, how do they get in touch with you if they want to have their cake and eat it too? How do they figure that out?
I love it. So my website is Forse Factor, and it's Force with an S, not a C. And you can connect with me on any social media channel. It says Nate Force. So Instagram, Facebook. Um, I got some awesome resources on there, some free things as well. My fat loss code, which is my 5-step formula of how to like really truly transform your body, like we talked about briefly. And so go to my website, get that stuff, and I'd love to connect with you. Shoot me a message as well. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, I mean, go on there and give it a try. I mean, why not? Like, just try it out. Doesn't work, doesn't work. But if not, you got a guy that's going to help you. And I love what you're doing. And one of these days, I'm gonna link up with you and do it when I get the time, or maybe when my kids get a little bit older and I can rededicate myself to nutrition and working out. I'm gonna hit you up as a coach.
Hey, dude, just 1%, bro. Start there.
Nate, it's been awesome, my brother. I love talking with you, man. Best of luck with fatherhood and your family. And hit me up if you need anything at all.
Of course, man. We need to do this again soon.
Yeah, we're up next. We'll do a Facebook Live next time you need one.
Perfect, bro.
All right, Nate. Have a great one, my man.
You too, bro. See ya.